espera que empiece. Listo. Bien, en teoría estamos por empezar. Voy a recargar por acá. Listo. Y por acá. Listo, ya estamos. Ya vamos a empezar. Muy bien. Obvio que no va a hacer eso, pero ya listo. Perfectísimo. Listo, así. Empezamos. Dejamos la barrita lateral por acá para poder ver todo. Damos play.
For the World Cup. But it got to 92, and SK Gaming are going to do it. The monthly final champions for February. At the same time, Loud and Casa Brawl made it clear that they were the two teams to beat. Both squads made their way into the grand finals with ease, but not without a fight. Their semi-final matchups were incredibly close, with each set packed with high-stakes drama and tension. Every game felt like it could swing in any direction, but these two teams fought tooth and nail to secure their spots in the final showdown.
All of this series from start to finish with a very nice draft, beautiful execution, and opponents who frankly don't know how to counter them.
The finals between Loud and Casa Brawl was a thrilling battle of strategy and skill. Every set seemed to come down to the last game, with the outcome hanging by a thread. In the end, Casa Brawl emerged victorious, but it could have easily gone either way. The rivalry between these two teams has only intensified, and with the stakes as high as they are, they'll both be hard to beat when it comes to claiming that final Brawl Cup spot.
How can a team realistically go against the 1 versus 3? He can't! And Casa Brawl are your champions in South America!
And who could forget Havoc? Their road to the finals was nothing short of spectacular. Their stunning reverse sweep against Elevate will go down as one of the most exciting comebacks in Brawl history. Their teamwork and determination were on full display as they clawed their way to the top, proving that they were a force to be reckoned with.
And Havoc are going to steamroll through! They are in the grand finals!
But despite their incredible run, they couldn't overcome the might of Tribe Gaming. Tribe showed their dominance throughout the finals, securing their spot as the team to beat in the region.
I don't think that's going to happen.
And Tribe Gaming pull away. 8 stars separating them. Havoc had a good run, but it ends here. Miracles stopped in Tribe Gaming.
Heading into March, the competition is fiercer than ever. The road to the Brawl Cup is still wide open, and any of these top teams could claim that final coveted spot. The race is on, and the next chapter promises to be as thrilling as the last. Stay tuned, because the ultimate showdown is just around the corner.
We're back, better than ever for another year of the Brawl Stars Championship. Teams from around the world will fight for a chance of becoming the Brawl Stars World Champions and their share of the $2 million prize pool. With a new and improved format, there's no telling what might happen this year.
His gadget won't be enough to get the kill, but SK Gaming!
Follow the journey along this spring split. Stars will be born, legends will rise, and the next champion will be crowned. Who will take home the glory of it all? Their story starts right here. Let's get ready to brawl!
We're kicking off our March monthly finals with the most exciting yet volatile region. It's time for East Asia. 8 teams are waiting for the moment to shine and to tell their story. I'm Sunny, and I'm super happy to be joined by Ark, Kenny, and Trev waiting in the wings. Hello, you two. It's been a bit of a break since the February monthly finals. Ark, what have you been up to?
What I've been up to in the Ark household, I've been searching for puppies. I've been doing a ton of prep leading into what's going to be a fantastic additional month to the monthly finals. I mean, East Asia, what's not to love? It's always set to be a banger, always something to look forward to, and I'm very excited for it.
I'm excited too. So are you, hopefully, Kenny. Are you ready for today's show? What's going to be your highlight of the day? Do you know already?
I mean, gotta think it's that quarterfinal 4 coming up on the way. Zeta Division, Crazy Raccoon, some old teammates duking it out, some world champions duking it out. It does not get much better than that.
Very high caliber teams we have today. Looking at the leaderboard now, Ark, it's just the outcome of month 1, but it already gives us a glimpse into how the race for the World Cup is shaping up.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, definitely a surprising thing last month to see Zeta Division not quite fare as well as we were expecting, so down in that 4th place position. But with that quarterfinals matchup, number 4 versus Crazy Raccoon, they've got a real opportunity today to really flip that balance. And if they can deprive Crazy Raccoon of those points, that can make the run to the Brawl Cup much, much more interesting for sure. Reject and Navi as well, definitely still top contenders for it. And of course, still for Reject and Crazy Raccoon in that spot to be able to qualify for the LCQ. For Frenzy Gaming, for Newell, for Effort Result, and Rival Esports, trailing behind, especially Rival Esports, who of course, didn't qualify last month, back this month though, and looking to bet themselves for it.
I love the word you used, opportunity. That's exactly what Zeta Division have in front of them. They're currently sitting at that 4 seed. For the Brawl Cup, you only get 1 spot in this region. It's the top spot, and Crazy Raccoon obviously with an advantage, but Zeta Division get to play them round 1. Bouncing last month's champs would send shockwaves into the entire region.
There's so many opportunities open still. Let's get acquainted with the bracket first to see which teams are facing up against each other. Kenny, Reject and Neva are starting. What's following?
Well, we got Rival Esports that I'm kind of excited to see. Obviously, a team that Ark pointed out hasn't necessarily been showing their best in month number 1, but get a second opportunity here. I think Reject are going to be the favorites on that upper side of the bracket. Another great opportunity for them to go to the grand finals. But on that lower side, some big names there, Ark. That's some crazy amount of org right there.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, certainly for Reject, we've got some high hopes for them to make the grand finals again today, but they've got to get through potentially that semi-final stages first. And we've had some big upsets as well. We haven't seen Gen G Esports, and that's the second time round now that we've not seen them in a monthly final. Very struggling to game through their qualifiers, and the matches they lost this month, they were swept and didn't gain a single game. Lost to Navi. That's the only team that they've lost to, which actually has made a monthly final. So we kind of expected to see them at this stage of the competition.
I certainly did. They look a bit suspect not having them in either of the monthly finals we had so far, but who knows, maybe they're going to be joining us for next month. Let's talk about the first matchup. First off, the Reject versus Neva is going to be our first series, and let's put these guys a bit under the microscope. What are we dealing with here?
For me, a real contender this year. For Rejects, bringing now into this roster with Melty, Shu, and Batterman. Melty and Shu, of course, coming from the Rival Esports squad of last year, who did fantastically well and made it to the world stage, the world finals. This really has been a fantastic roster to watch kind of come together. We saw Reject go to all the way into the grand finals last month. They did take the loss to Crazy Raccoon, but nonetheless, they beat Zeta Division to get to this grand finals, which I think is a real upset that we didn't kind of necessarily see coming. They had a really clean qualifying status in both of these 2 months. Last month beating Rival Esports at a double match point to stay in that upper bracket stage, to have that seed coming into the monthly finals, and this month as well a really clean qualifier yet again, beating Effort Results with a 3-0 scoreline. Looking very good for me in this stage of the competition.
Batman's jumped in with these two, and it's looked great so far. They had a close call last month, too. They were certainly tested, but obviously a marquee win over Zeta Division is going to have my eyes all over them. That's a really good showing.
Let's see who you guys are really rooting for. Let's head into our predictions from the casters first. Looks like we're pretty alike here.
Pretty aligned. I don't blame Trav, by the way, for sort of dividing us on that quarterfinals 4 matchup, because in terms of the scrum data, Zeta Division actually do have the edge over Crazy Raccoon by around 5%. There is a little bit of an inkling there, which, it really could cause a bit of a divide. A lot of people on Twitter saying the same thing as me in terms of our predictions, and very starting with Crazy Raccoon and getting these predictions in early, of course, locks you in. And if Crazy Raccoon take the loss there, then I think a lot of people's predictions might actually have a bit of a knock-on effect in that regard. I think it's actually a really fair, very 50-50 matchup. If there ever was one today in the quarterfinal stages, that's the one for me.
I totally agree. I think QF4 is going to be a toughie to call. I don't know what Zeta Division we're going to get today. Is the team that I put high expectations on, obviously a contender coming into the season. Last month, that's not what we got. I was frankly disappointed. I think the expectation for this team is really high, and that's part of it. When you add Chitampo to your roster, I'm expecting you to bring that World Finals kind of composure, and they definitely came up short. Reject are certainly a good team. I expect highly of them too, but Zeta Division need to be in the mix.
So you guys at home, make sure that you are stay tuned until the very last quarterfinals. It's going to be a very close one. First, we're going to head into Reject versus Niva though. And also remember to also get your predictions down over at eventofworldstars.com, since you can gain some Bro Pass XP plus a pin at the end.
For that PPXP, and of course, getting that skin as well by collecting that all together. I'm Pro Pass. I think it's a fantastic addition, and into the game is what it means, and bringing those casual viewers into the scene. A fantastic way to, of course, earn that all-important Pro Pass points and getting that extra progression along the way.
What have your ranked matches looked like so far, you two? Any trauma, Poco, Kank? What did you face?
I've been pushing really hard. I've been dedicated to being a solo on the ranked push. I've made it to L2. Let's just say some drafts along the way have not gone perfectly. I'm not only going to play my randoms. I look in the mirror sometimes. You got to play perfect on the ranked. We all know that. But honestly, it's been pretty crazy. I think these pros are going to see the same thing.
Same as Kenny, sitting in L2s, doing solos as well. So, but certainly it's bringing back some trauma from the past, I would say. But overall, I think the change has been fantastic for the game.
I certainly blame my randoms. I'm a typical random blamer. It's always on them. To be fair, they're always like on a 0-9 KD, so I don't really feel like it's their fault. But we'll see who makes it to Master first. Maybe we're gonna have a Caster to Master race eventually. Who knows? Let's talk pro players though. Reject versus Niva. Who has what it takes to actually make it today to the semi-finals? What are we leading with here?
The thing to remember here is that we did see these two teams go head-to-head last month, and it was a lot closer than I think many of us were expecting. Niwa gave a really fantastic run for their money against Reject in the quarterfinals last month. But for me, Reject do still have that bit of an edge, in my opinion. They've made the grand finals, they got more experience under their belt, especially with Shu and Melty from Rival Esports last year, considering their results. For me, Niwa as well, did have to sub in Mameshi last month, and how is that going to fare for Niwa this time round? They qualified with Mameshi in the February monthly finals, but then now Mameshi's gone back to Rival Esports for this month, and I assume for the rest of the season. So there's been some roster shakeups on the side of Niwa. How is that going to affect their gameplay, their mentality coming to today? Because Reject, they demonstrated last month, Kenny, they really mean business, making those grand finals, not necessarily winning them, but nonetheless going through the stages. Did display a great amount of skill along the way.
Melty and his teammates certainly captured the hearts of many. I think they put a lot of respect on their name. And honestly, probably something we should have seen coming. Shu and Melty have been a great core. Bataman was an up-and-coming player there for a little bit. Obviously, a little back and forth on how much he participated in the BSC. But nowadays, he's like that. I think Reject have to be taken seriously.
Just to recap that as well, we had some roster changes here. Team S2 is not playing in this current March Monthly Final. Nene is back at Neva, Mameshi back at Rival. Now, not only are we interested in your guys' opinion, we also want to hear Shu's thoughts on their performance last month.
去年とかだったら相手の使ってたキャラクターとかアナリストに教えてもらって対策とかして倒してたんですけど、今回の決勝だけちょっとデータ少なくてアナリストが入るの遅くて、で全く相手の対策できてない状態で CR と戦ってしまったことがミスだと思います。
Let's see if they can fix their mistakes. He seems to be confident. They have two players on their side that have been playing for a long time together. They have some history, Arc.
Yeah, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I think that's the message there. Get your analyst in early. I think it does say quite a lot, but go back to last year, who can forget just how much we saw Shu and Melty really synergize with Rival Esports. Making top 8 at the World Finals is a massive achievement for them. Some good results along the way as well, can't deny it. Second place in May, a first place finish in June. Really commendable stuff. It wasn't to be at the World Finals. Getting to the quarterfinals itself, they went out of those group stages to even face Reply Totem was a great success in itself. They took the loss 1-3, but I think this was their standout year, and we really did see that in their results.
I hope we also see it today in their results. It's not going to be easy for them because their opponent is looking quite strong as well. On the other side of this match is sending Neva, the only all-Korean team, but they're not afraid to throw down. Kenny, what are their chances?
I don't think they should be favorites, to be quite honest with you. This is a meta that's really changed up. We've had gadget changes, balance changes, brawlers go from F tier to S tier, and now these guys are switching up another player for another month. I just think that's a lot going against the team. I know it was super competitive last month. This is the roster they used to get through qualifiers. Nonetheless, it's just one extra challenge going against a team that I already anticipated to be a little bit better. I think Reject should certainly be favorites, but you know what? I was wrong on these guys last month. They certainly kept it close. I think they might be able to do it again, but this one feels more like a 3-1 to me.
Those two teams have faced off against each other before, namely in the February monthly finals. It's a rematch, so we want to talk about this briefly as well. How did that go down, Or?
Went all the way to the 5th and final set, and I think for many of us, we were not expecting it to get that far at all. Maybe like a 3-1 at most, really, in favor of Reject. So Newell did a fantastic job of displaying that they've got potential, no doubt about it. But you got to remember, coming into that match as well, to get to that stage and go for the qualifying stages, they went to double match points against Crazy Raccoon. I think that says volumes, really, when you consider that Crazy Raccoon won the monthly finals last month. So they also beat Rival Esports in those qualifiers too, to a 3-1 scoreline, getting some really solid results. But as Kenny says, it's about consistency, and can they maintain that? They lost to Navi this time around in the qualifiers to a 1-3 scoreline. So the question that I still have that comes back in full circle is, having no Mameshi this month, how's that going to change things now that that player's been subbed back over to Rival Esports? So are they going to be able to set that same precedent which they entered the monthly finals with last month?
We're going to see Mameshi later on in Rival Esports. Let's see if he's really missing on that team. Let's see if they have already done so well with that new team member now. We've talked about the teams. We know what's on the line. We also need the maps, though. Where are we playing on? Kenny, talk us through.
Honestly, like I alluded to, this is going to be a pretty insane month. And to be honest with you, I think one of the tougher ones for our pro players. I mean, in a casual level, it's changed up. I know you folks at home, whether it's ranked game, whatever it is, certainly seen some different brawlers. But now we've got that on top of gadget changes. We've got Mr. P porters everywhere, Poco gadgets flying, Stu on every single map and mode, and Hank might be the darn strongest brawler in the game. It's a lot to juggle. I think, honestly, the ban stage is going to dictate everything today. Who you want to ban out, because there's so many good brawlers right now. You kind of just have to pick your poison, who you want to roll with, who you want to deal with. So I'm curious to see what that ends up being for all these guys.
The gadget cooldown as well has changed everything so much, hasn't it? I mean, when you think about it, just gadget spam, rattled hides from B and protective tunes from Poker to be able to eradicate the stuns and slows so consistently and repetitively. I think that's why we're seeing such a big meta shift up as well. 82%, by the way, siding with Reject on the event site. I think that's very, very generous. I think that Niwa, having displayed what they did last month, I think deserved a bit more, actually.
Maybe they took a little inspiration of what the casters thought as well. Who knows? 82% overall for Reject. We talked a bit about those gadget changes. It's certainly affected the meta. We also have 6 new hyperchargers in-game already, and brawlers like Mr. P and Hank that I've never seen in competitive, at least not in a long time, are now at the top of the meta. Kenny, that's crazy.
It really is an insane thing to think about, honestly. It's going to make things much more difficult to deal with, I think.
Well, certainly, I think I'm looking to see some good bans. I mean, you've got to kind of have those heavy hitters out of the way immediately. Hank being there, Mr. P being there, Ollie being there, good stuff already. I think the Shade still in this region was heavily sort of considered last month. I think that it's not necessarily as important, in my opinion, considering now that we've got such a big shakeup. But Melody was very much that brawler that we did see time and time again. Not necessarily on Hard Rock Mine. I'm more kind of looking for it in maps like Shooting Star, which I believe is in this rotation. But it's not a bad brawler pick, especially for what is a very aggressive region. I don't mind it. I like the gem carrier mid position now that I think Niwa have got to heavily consider being either a Gene or a 8-bit or something along those lines, really. But that Melody certainly can dance around a lot of that, and the aggressiveness of which that brawler brings is going to be a bit of a consideration here.
I think that many people at home, Shade may be the one that is a little bit of an oddball given the ban stage. I think if you're the first overall pick there, you can kind of throw out something you don't want to deal with. And to your point, Shade's shown up quite a bit in scrims here in this region in particular. So that's somebody I'm keeping my eye out depending on the map and mode for today. Bell's showing up here, safe, dependable. Some metas don't change that. I think Bell is somebody that's never really been in the top 5, top 10 category this year, but somebody that's definitely going to continue to be in that top 15 to 20 player rate like we saw last month.
Penny's going to have a bit of a tough time, in my opinion, against the Melody. I think that certainly with the knockback on the mortar, it can serve to some avail, but I'm really feeling what Reject are cooking right now, in all honesty. But Penny's in a fantastic spot, actually very underutilized in this region last month, actually, funnily enough. We saw a great deal of her in EMEA, for example, but here it wasn't necessarily as much so. Gut's going to come in, a very nice safe pair of hands, and of course that Spooky Boy shielding can just hand over. Such a fantastic way to allow the Melody to get a lot more value, so I really quite like what they are thinking on that side of things. See what they want to add to this comp. I mean, something aggressive on the other side would be a great thing to have. I was going to say Stu's not actually banned, but Surge going to be the flavour of their opinion, which I don't mind. They're kind of anticipating maybe some tankiness to come. I mean, it's a great map for brawlers like Ash, so I can understand it. And just not taking the risk. I think that's kind of wise. Meeple, yeah. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Meeple, actually. One that we haven't really spoken that much about, but has just launched into the meta now. With the, again, the ability to kind of gadget spam. It's got a fantastic gadget, great ability to break the bush and zone out brawlers and lock them in. I think that it's a really, really strong one to have here.
Meeple is honestly who I was expecting, especially after that Surge pick. You're kind of not going to love going tank into that matchup. I think Meeple is going to show up quite a bit this month. The gadget spam, like you mentioned, just the ability he has to control the map is unbelievable. Between his gadget and super combo, he deals much more damage. It's honestly a pretty solid amount. So I think Meeple is one of the biggest beneficiaries of our most recent balance changes. We'll have to see how the pros utilize him here. It's going to be set number 1, Reject versus Niwa, rematch from last month. We'll see if things change up here on Hard Rock Mine.
So good taps to start things off from Korea there. And yeah, Melty and Batman really struggling to fight back here. Getting some good taps now though. 2 gems sitting in the mid, 2 of Melty. Melty can't really contest if he keeps taking these bell shots, as they really are landing the mark now. To say it, some good dukes though do then start coming to play from the Melty side. Good gadget pop there from the Kooky Popper there as well, and that's going to deter things a little bit more in favor of Reject to cut to these gems. They're still now 4 sitting in mid.
They're going to be scooped up by Reject here. Blue side with 7 in their pockets. Batman being backed away, and now a takeover of the left-hand lane. Pressure being felt by Melty here. He's going to just back off for now. And Shu's still at that tier 1 stage arc. That's something notable. If tier 1 is what Surge is sitting at, these guys could be in trouble. Obviously a major lead right now, but you got to be winning your lane or at least contesting.
Looking to maybe hand over the shield to Batman as Melty, considering it now. Certainly not with the That's how much that he's had to concede. He's got to heal up on that left-hand side now. Just the one gem for Countdown. You've got to go in now. Maybe hand the shield over and just get the gems to come back, in my opinion. But looking to play it slower and steadier on the side of Reject. Don't mind it. Let's see, though. Scrapman's got to go now. Yeah, it's going to dash in. Go straight for the penny. I like that. Now the Countdown is there. On the side of Reject. A bit of a drop of the gems, but Shu should be able to get back with these okay.
Went for the stun, didn't quite connect. Reject 10 on the pockets, and now Melty moving up. It's going to be a super going down. Meeple with a little extra damage. There's the first. Shu's still on tier 1. This lone surge has to survive. Cookie buying his time as much as possible, going for the angles, and everybody playing defense. It's close, but not close enough. Shu survives, and the gyms will rest with Melty and his teammates. Game 1 going their way.
I mean, towards the end, honestly, they couldn't really have given much more of an opportunity for anyone to capitalize. I mean, how often do you see a level 1 surge gem carrier, you know? It's kind of wild that they were able to even hold off there, but it was close towards the end. Nonetheless, though, we are just getting started, and I'm liking a lot of the accuracy that I'm seeing from Niwa, to say the least. I mean, certainly in this mid-battle, we've seen some great taps from the Bell, and the Meeple's getting some good value as well. I want to see a bit more from Cookie, but again, it's still early days. So far, though, I would say that Reject looked a bit more confident in their approach.
One thing to go on the comp on the red side, I just don't feel like it's got enough of an aggressive factor. Shu going to be able to take advantage here, and this is the first time we've actually seen him get a natural tier 2 outside of a gadget. Meeple dropping a super here. There's an elimination. Still 5 gyms for Reject, but like I mentioned, when you got a Penny and a Bell and a Meeple, you're not necessarily up in the faces of enemies, and I think that's something lacking right now, and maybe why Reject were able to just stay away, hold on to the gym count, because they've got something like a Melody to get in their faces.
Well, another super again. Nini just really cycling well for me. And again, with that gadget now taking down the rage quit there, he's utilizing his 16 seconds. So it's quite low on the side of things. He's able to cycle it quite a lot and get that stun effect. So this thing, that's why Meeple's really coming forward a little bit more on the map as well. It works really well. Cookie on the right hand side, really out of position now. Pinch between Shu and Melty. It's going to go down. 2 gems in the middle, in the 3 versus 2, not going to be the easiest things. I like that from Ballerman. Getting ahead of things, taking the mark as well. I don't mind it. Keeping it away from Melty allows him to get 8 gems in his pocket now, and Reject looking in a very good spot. Things might change now. That top left-hand side taken back by Cookie. Cookie might then make it a 3 versus 2. It'll be a tough thing to retake now.
Map control, and now they've got a paint turret established. Shu's gonna get a takedown. That's gonna be pivotal. Lots of traps on the ground, and now a hypercharge. Left hand in, Batman forced away. Melty going back as well, and Grayo slowly able to claim these gyms. They're making a little bit of a comeback here. Good surge coming out of the red roster.
Yeah, I'm liking the lane swap for sure. Cookie goes to the left-hand side now is really causing a problem, and they're bringing back a good deficit now to tie up the gems. 8-8, hypercharge now for Batman, and he is taken care of swiftly, and the egg stun there as well. Melty, just evades that mortar by a glimmer, honestly. Shu doing his best in the middle, trying to get some stacks, trying to get some gems, does get the 10th and bounces back as well, but they've got to still fight for this mid, because there's plenty of time for Niwa to get a reset. There it is.
That was really good. Call out at them, making sure they're taking their time. That's a big time trap though. Melty being slowed down will manage to escape, but these taps are coming in. Grayo really hitting the bell markers here. Pivotal. Now red team can take a countdown as well. Keep in mind the clock as well, 15, and it's going to be a close call. Melty rushing forward, has to watch out for this trap. He's going to avoid it for a second, finally trips up on it, and now they're going to be able to take him out. Melty forced away. Lots of ghosts on the ground, and Grayo has to be careful about how he approaches this, but just enough time is bought. Reject hold control of the mid, and now they're going to swing it their way. What a takedown!
Shu has now as well a great opportunity to just go on the aggressive. Hypercharge is available on the penny, but Melty gets to take down a Nini as well, and that's going to be the gems coming back. Batman for good measure just takes everyone out, gets them all back for his squad, and that's going to be a set going the way of Rejects.
Strong start out of Reject here. I do feel like there was a little bit of aggressive nature lacking in that right-hand side composition. But this is kind of where they picked off on last month. I think they've got a little extra momentum. They're a little more confident. We saw this go to a 3-2 scoreline last time. I'm expecting more of a 3-1. I still think Niwa deserves a lot of credit. But honestly, pretty convincing first set. I'm pretty impressed with Reject so far.
I agree with you, Kenny. It really felt like they had so much aggression on the side of Reject with Batman on the melody. That was a performance. And then also the surge looked so strong. Shu on him. I mean, the second game was really, really close. They almost turned things around, but it wasn't quite enough for it.
Yeah, a good back and forth for sure. Nini having a fantastic game there on the most takedowns of the entire series there. But I mean, for me, Cookie, he did really well. Taking the, taking the forefront to go to the left-hand side and swap the lanes when things weren't working out. I really quite like that from him, but definitely we can say a much more rounded affair when it comes to Reject's performance there with 5 and just the 4 there for Melty. I mean, that is still really nicely balanced across the team, whereas it's quite hard to get a lot of takedowns as a bell, to be fair, in that mid for Creo, but nonetheless, I think that Reject for me just looked that a little bit stronger.
I think so too. I mean, game one, obviously, you never know what's going to happen. Everybody's loosening up, getting used to things. But it's kind of funny. I mean, Reject really went for a composition that I think we could have foresaw last month. Meeple was still the star player. I think a great performer. But yeah, I do think the draft could use a little bit of a change-up. You got some good damage and value out of the Meeple there, as you can see in the highlights too. The damage he does through that wall can be a ton. And obviously, having a little wall hacks brings a lot to the table. But something dependable like a Gus, I don't know. I kind of like the combo with Melody. Had a good all-around just showing there. And I think Reject doing what they know best, which is honestly a good thing, especially in a meta where we have no idea what's about to happen.
Well, we're gonna find out today. I still remember where Meeple wasn't really the best in the meta at all. He came out and nobody really wanted to play him. Now, as you mentioned, the damage that he's putting out is just crazy. And also, on a map like Hard Rock Mine, there's so many walls, it's really gonna help to have that super down. With Gem Grab out of the way now, Ark, we're heading into Brawl Ball. You feel like we're gonna see some new picks here?
Certainly for so. I mean, certainly the tanks can have a fantastic time here. Throwers, crucial. Yeah, I can say so, but ultimately a bit of a higher risk thing to go in an early stage of the draft. I think you're going to want to see your options before you kind of consider going in with those and just really highly consider the timings in which you're going to be showing all your cards on the table there. But wall break, I think, is going to be quite crucial here. I think, having brawlers like B can really cause a big problem with the gadget spam on the Rattled Hive here as well. Some slows definitely are there for potential too, but the tanks is where things I think are a bit dangerous to me on this map, and having the ability to break things open if things aren't going your way in the draft, I think as well, got to be up there as a consideration.
Heading into the draft now. Let's see if they are gonna try something new. The bans are in. Heck is gonna be banned out. This time Shade is open, but Kenny, you already mentioned we didn't really expect him to be picked anyways.
Yeah, I think Ollie was the must pick there, right? If he escapes the ban stage, that's exactly where I'm going. No Lou in the equation, no B. This seems like a pretty solid showing here. To your point too, Ark, honestly, thrower is a little more risky. It's something I've noticed as a trend across the world in this meta that I think in old times, you always have a thrower, but at a professional level, with all of the tanks that are viable right now, I think it's so hard to get away with it and take advantage of that as much. So honestly, this may be a map where we do see those more tanky and aggressive brawlers, or the opposite, where we see something like a Surge that's there to counter the tanks and honestly does well into those throwers.
If you got third and final pick, I can see it, as being an option. But you consider the whole picture, and there's no chance of the Mortis, to come as the final brawler to just ruin your day. Brawlers like Barley at the moment for me are having a great time though with the amount of gadget spam that you can get with the healing tonic. So I think it's definitely an option, not necessarily for me still the strongest thrower. I think for me that we're still seeing that be in the hands of others like Juju. And there she is, exactly that. I do quite like that as an idea. But I think the danger here is the potential to break open this map now. I mean, the Ollie wouldn't be able to have nearly as much of a good time on that front. I think Reject have got to really highly consider themselves here. They've got the Surge to be able to counter it a bit, but Ollie's in such a strong spot. I mean, with this Juju as well, I think that Neo have got a fantastic draft. The Amber's my only reservation, really.
Last month, if you were with us, Juju was going to be a brawler that was banned more times than played. Now that we had a little bit of a shakeup, we have brawlers like Hank, Mr. P, a lot of different brawlers coming into the mix. I think this is a brawler we could anticipate seeing a little more in the play side today. Don't think she's quite going to make the ban stage depending on the map and mode, but I do think both of these thrower choices are great. You talked about it. The spam you can get with Barley's healing tonic is so good, just preserving your team's life, getting you in better situations all around. Honestly, I really don't think this is a bad shout from either team. I think overall some strong comps. With no wall break, the Amber's interesting. You got to play that one specific lane where it's a little more open, I think. But other than that, having Ollie, having Juju, that's a pretty strong comp on that right hand in too.
They could opt for the sticky syrup mixer on the Barley side to be able to deter a little bit what the Ollie can bring to slow him down and try to make him more vulnerable. But I think that the healing's better for me still. That's what they're bringing in. I think that the hypnosis on the Ollie as well is going to be devastating no matter what. So even with that slow, it'll be really tough to really evade that front. Again, a simple gadget can bring it out on the Ollie side as well, which we're seeing as being the meta for him. So certainly look for regulate in that regard. But already. Good opening hand for Reject. Melty's already got super as well, and some notes flying around him as well. Gadget going in, no, but does get taken down regardless. But already look at this aggression. The heals as well, and RC just be able to put this one in. Melty, the first goal of this set. Nice stuff in just 35 seconds of play.
A little bit too easy. I think they were just patient, honestly. Shu was more winning than losing his lane. Left hand in. Melty couldn't move up as easily, but once he got those musical notes, it was all good for them. I think just, honestly, not a lot of contention there. Now they're going to try Amber on this right-hand side. I don't know if that's the solution, but it's certainly working a little better than it was prior.
Very green now on the map. Melty's got a heal here and shooting a really tough spot. There's the hypnosis there, just the good vision from Nini. Melty all alone, got the hypercharge as well, pops the gadget. He's 3 versus 1, he's going to go down, but does buy a little bit of time for his team, and a bit of a missed pass there from Crew. He's going to waste a bit more time as well. Now this Oli can heal up, and I don't think we'll have a gadget just yet. It hasn't been quite enough time for that side of things, with 17 seconds as a cooldown. Let's see now the ball being pushed from the left-hand side, and have a jump in. There's the gadget as well, just the nick of time. Some good damage, but can Cookie push this in? Cookie gets it, nice stuff, and an equalizer for Niwa.
Great utilization of that gadget, but now a hypercharge for Shu. It's going to clobber the entire map. Nene going to have to move to this top left-hand side. Ollie does have a super available. Cookie does have some utilization there too. Going to elect for the shield, but it gets eliminated immediately. Now a lot of pressure being applied by the blue side. Is a gadget out of Cookie. A takedown as well, and a huge one at that. Now a breakaway left-hand side. Ollie with a super, dives forward, moves left. No hypnosis available. Melty was just out of range, but what a wonderful play.
Gets dashed away before the hypnosis loop, which is going to take its toll as well. All push through the left-hand side. They got the fan yet again. It's Melty all alone. He gets one, but then the second is going to not be able to be done. Crew is able to secure it. That's going to be a game going the way of Niwa. What a turnaround from them. Great stuff again. I'm loving this Ollie pick. It's really proving a problem. Despite the melody dancing around it, I think that, for me, this could be a set going their way if they keep this up. The Rejects, they've got to knuckle down now and really put this one to rest. They got a goal. They were the first ones to score it, but it's a very tough thing to defend against an Ollie.
There's a lot of brawlers that are really good right now, but one that I am not messing with, and I'm throwing in the band stage almost every time, has to be Ollie. The absolute man at a professional level right now. Hoverboard to the mid. Batman jumps though, looking for a dunk, going for the open net, grabs it and takes advantage. What a kickoff here to the opening game number 2.
Trickling over the line. Oh, lovely stuff. For Reject there, Niwa could only watch. Nice from Melty, pushing the left-hand side aggressively. Cookie going to be falling as well. A 1 versus 3, but Anoli can defend this with the hypnosis, but I don't think there's been enough time. He gets the ball, but as soon as it's straight, the hands of Shu, who passes it to Batman, and Batman gets it in. What a response from Reject.
What a heads-up play. Back-to-back big buckets there coming out of Reject. We were just singing Niwa's praises, and all of a sudden, a 30-second game later, and it's evened out. This is a pivotal moment here for the red roster. If you're down 2-0 against Reject, it's a tough look. This is a roster riding on confidence. Momentum swing from last month. Upper bracket this month. Consistency is a hard thing to come by. We saw what Niwa could do in game number 1. They're going to have to replicate that in game 3 if they want a chance at this set.
Got a fight on our hands here for sure. Nearly pushing forwards a little bit, and the gadget spam from the Barley is going to be quite tough to deal with on the healing side. 17-second cooldown, so not much at all before we're going to be seeing another one coming through. Melty going in for the Eye of the Storm there, gets a point of weakness. Cookie as well, low HP, just trying to use the gadget to seek and destroy that right-hand side. This forward just a little bit, gets a 3 grief for his time. Able to defend things away, but now on the side of Niwa, getting it to Nini as well. Very important person to have the ball. Again, just being able to gadget in and just jump over and have that hypnosis take its toll, going straight into the super, going Shu this time. That's find him as well. This is one of the shots along the way, though, which will waste a little bit of time. Batman might be able to get this clear.
And it's going to be tough look here. Cookie dribbling and an easy walk forward. The gadget super combo. He can jump over the wall, get in your faces. Ollie's just such a good brawler in Brawl Ball, specifically for offense and defensive capabilities. Hypercharge pops here on the left-hand side. Melty gets the first frag. Jump in from Batman. He's looking for number 2. A second dive. Shield goes up for Nene, and he will stay alive for now, but just barely.
Really low HP now. Really coming out as well. Melty utilize that hypercharge well, but now we would much prefer to have had the defense. More heals coming out from Shu. And they find Cookie as well beneath that invisibility. Oh, look at that. Gas and Melty just absolutely destroyed through. It's going to be Nini all alone here. They're going to depend on Shu to be able to trickle him down. They get it, and they get the goal as well to equalize things up. Oh my word, whoever gets the next goal takes the set.
Been a thriller of a set number 2. Niwa really need it. And the grabbing the ball by Ali. A great counter here by Batman. He's barely alive, and Cookie will get the finish. Now Melty trying to get aggressive on the top left. Shu with the ball. Another hypercharge goes down, and Cookie doesn't stand a chance. 2v1 situation. Melty just trying to buy time for his teammate.
I love that dancing flame schedule there from Creator to be able to turn away from the Melody. It was a great counter idea. Just press the green button and sit there and say, yeah, go for me, mate. It's not going to work out well for you. Now, Reject pushing forwards in a situation where the boxes are about to go down with 5 seconds to play. Great taps there on the right hand side from Banaman. The heals coming in from Shu. And now Nini's in a really tough spot. The bringing coming out in just the nick of time. Look at this aggression from Creator, making some huge space on the left hand side. Gets melted down to below 500 HP.
And Ollie's just going to get aggressive on the squishy brawler. Batman type right. You have to watch out for him. Ollie being focused. Heavy fire being laid down by Creo, and they're able to move this ball forward. It's going to be a contention in the mid. Whichever side can get to this ball, maybe get a super shot off, going to have the best chance at it.
Now just one tap away from Super here. And if he goes in, he's going to be able to cause a big, big problem. He's got to have the gadget to hand. Ooh, just baiting things out a little bit there. He's got 2 more super shots. Nice bit of splash damage over there from Shu. Nini coming in to try to get the hit, take his soul. But the ball pushed through by Melty. He scores it and puts Reject now 2 sets up.
What a goal. That's the kind of stuff that Melody can bring to the table, and a reason why this brawler continues to show up. Big heads up play there from Reject, and a much needed one to try and bury this other team. One more set, and they're going to be moving on to yet another semifinal.
Oh my, what a close set that was. My eyes were glued to the screen. Once again, we had a lot of aggression from the side of Reject with the Surge and the Melody. Whenever they had ult, with the Barley heals as well, Herbal Tonic just helping them push through. It was impossible in the end for Neva to win this one. That 20-second goal in game 2 also just happened because of the pure aggression. We also see it in the stats here, Arc. Overall, Neva looked very good, but it wasn't enough.
Really good. I mean, the draft is looking a little bit better for me now as well. We had some concerns in the first set. That second set was better. They gave themselves the best possible chance. I mean, they were only 1 goal away from taking the set. I mean, that's really, really commendable. But Shu, a fantastic game. 314 DPS. It is really, really solid. But the amount of healing as well, which he brought to his team too, to keep everyone standing, to allow Melty to go on the aggressive and open up those opportunities for the team and get those goals in. I mean, really was fantastic. I think that the Ollie, though, was the shining star on the side of Niwa. Nini with 10 kills there as well, and just really did some great work in keeping things alive for his team, but just wasn't quite enough. I mean, it really was quite a close set though, and I think that Niwa, if they'd won it, I mean, they would be in such a great spot. Now being 2 sets down, it's gonna be very, very tough to keep that momentum.
that last reaction was definitely me on that final goal. That honestly was so close to not going in, but they just got it through. Really impressive stuff. I think it is still a close call. Niwa turned that one into a 2-1, looking more like last month's, but honestly, Reject in the driver's seat at this point. If Shooting Star gets away from him, Niwa could have an early exit.
They could have. Shooting Star is going to be our next map. Once again, Ollie, Nene, they looked amazing, but with the aggression that Reject showed us so far, they can also take Shooting Star here. It was also such an interesting interaction there with the Surge. He kind of counters Ollie, if timed correctly, with his ult. That was a really cool interaction. I'm certain we're going to see some more of that. Now, Melody and Surge have been picked up twice so far by Reject. Do you feel like they're going to help any on Shooting Star?
They're not going to be played because they'll be banned for sure. Melody 100% needs to be banned on this map.
Probably.
It's just too much of a pairing with the Gus. I think that in this region as well, they play it more than anyone else on this particular map and mode. So like it will just be banned out. Whoever doesn't have coin toss has to. Is not done. It's a huge blunder and possibly the end of things to come. But you know, Tick of course is pretty much banned across the regions. You know, Gene definitely up there consideration. I think Mr. P's got to be a must here. If it's banned, it opens up the possibility of a Piper as well, which could be interesting to see. But certainly brawlers like that have just got to be considered so highly. Juju as well, I think as well. It's better saying that mid can have a great time.
I would count Mandy to those brawlers as well. She also just recently has gotten her hypercharge, so I feel like she could also be one of the best brawlers to pick or ban here. Just waiting for the player bans to come in here. Kenny, what do you feel like? Do we see some of the old meta still? Take Piper, Nani? Are those around still?
Not banned.
It is really interesting to see them go unbanned. You got to think if you had the first overall pick, it's certainly on your mind. It's going to be great into sharpshooters, great into Gene, and obviously just having the hypercharged Porter goes absolutely crazy. Gray is the other brawler that immediately came to my mind, and right now I think a huge part of this meta. They don't end up going for it. They go for RT, which is a pretty frequent first pick, I would say, across the world in this map. Even still, last month certainly had a strong showing in Bounty, KO in general, but I am a little bit surprised to see it let go. I'm wondering if people are starting to figure out ways to get aggressive into Mr. P. Grabbing the bell may be one way to do that, the bounce shots off those heavier porters if they end up getting the opportunity, but this is certainly interesting to me.
I like the RT pick. I think it makes a lot of sense. Niwa just preying on the idea that we haven't got to ban the Melody if we pick RT first pick. And a lot of people aren't really banning that particular brawler. So, I mean, what can you realistically do as a Melody going into an RT? Reject might still try it, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely now more of a conversation piece to have. But, you know, I'm still surprised with the bans that we've got, in all honesty. I think that Bell as a pick is definitely not a bad one, but maybe it's more to take it out of the hands of Niwa, who played it fantastically well in that first set. Juju as well, they're going to have a really good time in that mid. Like I said, the lakeside is perfectly displayed there against the bush, but if Niwa go in with a Brock and break that bush, there's really little that Juju's going to have in terms of her ability to, you know, have extended range in that mid. We've seen that as a great strategy on Shooting Star in the past, and one that can work with the Nanny. I mean, the Peep could be utilized in that regard to break that bush, to break that mid wall, and now the tick coming through as well, which again is pretty much a must ban in every other region. So definitely some interesting drafts going on in South Asia. I mean, East Asia rather. I don't mind it. I really don't. I think they've got a different play style, they're a bit more outside of the box. But the Nanny is definitely a very strong pick for Niwa. I think that supplements may work, but Max makes the perfect counterplay. The phase shift gadget, being able to really tank those Peep heads, I think is going to be a big difference maker now as well. The phase shift's got a 15-second cooldown now. That's very quite low on that side of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kenny, it could be sneaky sneakers, but I've been saying for the longest time that is the worst gadget in the game. It's kind of ironic, isn't it, that you bring in a new brawler which has literally that same mechanic but 10 times better. I mean, Max out here collecting dust on the gadget, sadly, but that's down to a 12-second cooldown. I just don't think we're ever going to see it, not in competitive, not anytime soon.
No, not when phase shift is what it is. Very well-rounded compositions on both sides. I like the choice of the Max to kind of mess with the sharpshooter capabilities. It's a long-time topic in Brawl Stars. Sharpshooters sometimes can struggle into a really good Max, and we know that East Asia and Melty are more than capable. This is a big set. Niwa need one on the board. Otherwise, it's going to be an early exit for them, and a strong start here for Reject. They can walk over water and easily grab that blue star.
This is my concern. Look at Cookie here on the left-hand side, getting very advantageous. Getting a nice position between himself, Shu and Bannerman, and continuing to tap. Really nice accuracy in him. Now is finding some support, nearly pushes forward. And that's the brawler that you really want to have in this spot here. Bannerman low HP, Shu low HP as well. Reject really struggling now in defense. Mel's trying to open up some space here. It is just that one star, the blue star, no kills deaths just yet. But so far, I'm really liking the aggression from Niwa.
Reject could use a little juice. Definitely trapped on their spawn side, and Max needs to deliver with the speed. And Nani Peep incoming, Batman trying to dodge, and does just that. And now slowed down on the right-hand end. Tick will get away, just under 1,000 HP, but alongside that health gear will get so much back so quickly.
Shu in a tough spot here, but nice there from Batman to open up more potential for tapping on the left-hand side. Nelty as well, top right, really quite apart from his teammates, but that has brought back flow of action from Niwa. Trying to get the speed he needs that for his team. That's their get out of jail free card for being stuck in the zone on the spawn side. Now pushing forwards again, pushing back that right side, but it's still no kills or deaths. It's all pushing 20 seconds. Bang goes down! That's the difference maker so far. Niwa takes the lead.
And now with the shot clock 15, Reject gotta act fast. Shu left-hand side and Cookie holding him back. Gree there to assist. Top right-hand corner is gonna be a place to keep your eye on. It's a tick head. Melty takes it though. Face shift through, grabs the kill, but has to get out. Putting pressure on Cookie. Creo gonna go down alongside his teammates and watch him burn. 6-2. Reject go on to match point.
Explosion in those final seconds, and really calculated. You gotta love it. For Reject there. Not an easy thing to do, but they were able to just find a good angle for it from that right-hand side and just power through the max. I really, really love that for them. I mean, gotta hand it to Melty. That was, you know, put into practice long before those final seconds as well. Pushing the right-hand side was the plan for, you know, about 40 seconds prior. So gotta really give him a lot of credit. Gotta face it maybe out of this though. Just gonna hold on to it. Gets the blue star. That's the most important thing. Cookie though, out of position here, shoots the invisibility, gets the kill as well. That's much better for Reject now. A good 3-star lead to start things off.
They've got no real way to deal with that grass other than maybe a tick head that gets lucky, connects them at the perfect spot. That was one thing we saw last month. People figuring out the tech of using something like a Brock wall break to try and get rid of that. Render Shu/Juju a little more useless, but right now they're rocking and rolling. 3-0 lead. Melty having to deal with this. That's a big time kill, and they swing the blue star their way. Still down overall, but certainly give themselves a chance here with 1 kill.
Yeah, it's a good spot for Neo. They will not be grumbling with that whatsoever. Missed mark there from Batman. Onto the RTs, not great. Keep coming in now. Does find Batman this time. Much better piloting. We didn't see that in the first game. Let's see now as Melty again on that right-hand side. It's really slimy. You've got to hand it to him. I mean, he's really taking on 2 people every single time to just bring back his teammates into the mid. There's Batman trying to connect with Cookie there. Gets him low. Shoot there with the invisibility as well. The Elementalist gadget doing a really nice amount of work there, but full better of it. Came back a little bit there. I don't mind it. He looked like he was considering for a bit. Speed coming in. Should going to hold back though. Just allow Melty to take the forefront. But my concern is that if Melty goes down, it's going to deflate this entire push on the right-hand side and also hand the lead over to Niwa. Now as 25 seconds approach, Niwa needs to get a kill or this one's all over.
Let's see how Niwa handles the pressure. Down 1, 20 seconds on the clock, and this is for their tournament lives. Cookie has now been marked up as well, and Melty's dancing on this right-hand side. Hypercharge being popped. Nani Peep moving left, nowhere to dodge. They tank it with a gadget. Cookie moving in. Now they're putting on the tick mines as well. A hypercharge going down. Left-hand side, they grab one. Grayo needs to make magic happen. He finds the first, needs a second here, but has to hold on, and he does just that. This match will be extended to just another match point.
I think that was the match. Just double checking that was the match. Yeah, I was counting the stars along the way, but oh, such a close ending, honestly. I mean, you could cut the tension with a knife there. Unbelievable stuff. Let's see how we get the response now as, again, you are trying to trail things off and bring things back a little bit more. So close. I mean, that final push from me was the turning point, and you got to hand it to them to keep their composure.
Was a nail biter there at the end. Quite the buzzer beater, but Niwa will hold on. So we're going to a game 3 here. Another chance and another opportunity. The last second blue star made all the difference there. Now Melty, a lot of pressure. This is kind of the most we've seen RC encroach on the enemy side.
Batman in a tough spot. And Cookie's going to punish it, gets the mark off, but it's different now. Reach, they've never been in this spot in such an early stage of the game. Shu finds Crew and leaning down to just a couple of 100 HP there as well. Good test from Batman, and Cookie goes down. Now look at this, a completely different approach from Reject, and it's working. 6 stars to 1. It exploded these first opening minutes, and just now Neo trailing behind big time.
Reject still holding on this lead, now extending it a little more. A takedown on the Creo Nani on the tail end of that one. A respawn here, and they're gonna have to start clawing their way out of it. This is the first time we've really seen the kills explode here early on. Now tripping up over that nest egg. Melty trying to get the extra couple taps. It's not quite enough. They have to burn a super there just to move forward. They find one, now it's only 3.
Nest egg pop there by Cookie on the left-hand side. Slowed, but already taken advantage of by Reject. Speed coming in from Melty. Shoes marked up. Can't aggress too much on this right-hand side. Opens up a little bit of space, but still, Nemo can get a kill. They got the blue star as well, and that would be enough. Oh, good taps from Batman. Shoe low HP though. Force back. Oh, Cookie's gotta be careful. So careful. Down to 1,000 here. Keep coming in, trying to pilot things around. Does find something. Batman gets Cookie though. As 11 stars to reach it. A substantial lead now, and they will take it and proceed to the semi-finals.
Last month, down to the wire. Not this time. Reject with a clean sweep here. 3-0 across the board. These fellas came to play. We had question marks about Niwa. Would the roster change? Would the meta change mess with them? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Not their best showing. But for today, Reject with a huge moment here. And now an opportunity in the semifinals to keep their scoreboard going.
Oh my god. The 82% of you at home that voted for Reject were right in the end. It was a 3-0 sweep. Reject made it into the semi-finals. It was kind of a very conservative comp here with the Nani tick. That was a meta that we've seen half a year ago, but it wasn't old buck gold for Niva. It didn't quite work out yet. That second match, guys, it was so incredibly close. Only the blue star decided.
Yeah, I think when you consider like how this could have gone either way, really, a lot of the times I think the scoreline doesn't do it justice. And in that second set as well, Niwa was just one goal away from gaining a set, and if they'd just done that, it could have made a big difference in their morale going into that third and what turned out to be their final sets. And I think they stood up a good fight along the way. I think Cookie was struggling a little bit for me on that RT pick, and I think Batterman was just tapping him down a lot of the time and making it quite tough for Niwa to really push those spawn side areas. But I think the comp was pretty decent. I like the strategy as well in that draft. With the Melody not being banned, the RT first pick did deter a lot of what Reject had already displayed in that second set they would like to have brought in. But the scorelines was it all for me though, and the kills are what matters in Bounty, and Reject had them much more on their side.
Certainly an interesting one. Seeing a donut come out of Creo too, that always breaks my heart a little bit.
It really did. In the end, it was a close match, yet the 3-0 doesn't really reflect it. I feel like the Reject 3-0, the sweep that they put up today was really, really strong of them. Yet, I still feel like we're going to see more of Niwa in the upcoming months.
Hopefully so. I mean, again, my reservation coming in was simply the fact that, with the roster shake-up that they've had, were they going to be able to display what they did last month again, against what was a really tough team? I mean, Reject making the grand finals last month, it was never going to be an easy task, not by any means, or stretch of the imagination. So definitely not the scoreline they would have liked. I think that one that they can still be reflecting on and be relatively proud of some of their decisions, but a bit of a long way to go. But nice to see a new up-and-comer in this region. It's a very tough thing to do. Let's be honest, it is East Asia. Up next, of course, Rival Esports versus Frenzy Gaming. Really looking forward to seeing Rival Esports having qualified for the first time this year. After that, Navi versus Effort result. Again, a lot of eyes on Navi this year too. And of course, that final banger of a matchup, State Division versus Crazy Raccoon. The number 1 and number 4 of this region taking on each other at such an early stage of the competition. It's going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal no matter what way you look at it. Crazy Raccoon a chance to really extend their lead on that leaderboard from first to the heavens, and for State Division, they've got to get off the mark. They had a tough month last month, and now's their time to try to rekindle things.
Rival Esports versus Frenzy is gonna go up next. Whoever wins that match has to go up against Reject in the semi-finals. Who's it gonna be? We're gonna figure out after short break.
今一番使ってて楽しいキャラクターは B です。で、B は、理由としては、ガジェットが強いのとタンクに対して戦える、長射程の乗りだからです。
はい、現在のメタのキャラクターで一番好きなキャラクターはミスター P です。いや、相手に嫌がらせをするっていうのが結構好きなんで、その面でミスター P のウルトだったりだとかが かなり相手目線嫌だと思うんで、そういうのが結構好きです。
今一番使うのが楽しいキャラはステューですね。なんでかって言ったら、まあ、投げも強い環境。で、今一番機動性があるキャラクターだと思うんで、もう一番使ってて楽しいですね。
Welcome back to the East Asia Monthly Finals. We already have one quarterfinals out of the way already, 3 still to go. And we also have another caster on the line here. Welcome, Trev, to the show.
Thank you. Absolute honor to be back in this region again. It's honestly one of the most mechanically skilled regions, and I'm sure everybody knows at this point, so very intrigued to see how the day plays out.
I'm sure you watched the quarterfinal that we already have down. What stood out to you in that match, Crazy Reject versus Neva?
I mean, not much really stood out to me. It kind of went as expected. I think we expected a 3-0, 3-1, that kind of vibe, and I think they lived up to how they've been playing in the past, Reject.
Certainly so. Let's see if this is going to be another sweep. 3-0, maybe? I don't think so. Rival Esports versus Frenzy Gaming, they certainly are going to put up a fight here, Kenny.
I think so too. This one's going to be real interesting. We talked about Mameshi earlier playing for one of the prior teams that we got to watch. He's back with his home team, Rival Esports. They've got quite the roster on their hands. Obviously, last month did not live up to expectation. This isn't a team coming to the year that I necessarily thought was going to be top 2, but certainly kind of fighting for an LCQ spot in my mind. So we'll have to see how it goes today.
We want to talk a bit more about this player that we see in Cam. He was qualified every monthly final in 2024, but he switched rosters so often. Let's talk about Terry a little bit, Kenny.
Well, Terry's definitely known for his tank gameplay. Certainly something that we could kind of anticipate him being the role of for this squad, as you see in the screen, Frank being there. But in this meta right now, we've got several big-time ones. Ollie, who we saw earlier. Hank, who has been hitting the ban stage quite a bit to start off our day, and I don't really anticipate that changing. So we'll see how they utilize Terry and all those insane mechanics here throughout this match.
There certainly are some rollers that he is going to be very strong on. Trev, sorry.
No, good, don't remember. I was just going to say, I think it's quite good to have a tank player when you're in the East Asia region. It's something that doesn't really pop up too often, and it's something that definitely is a big requirement in this meta specifically, at least.
I do think so. Having a tank on your team, a good tank player, certainly goes a long way. Now, we had both those teams playing really well already in the last month. A little bit of a change in Rival that now Mameshi is back. How do you feel like, is that gonna change the roster?
I mean, it's definitely going to boost it that a little bit more. I think, as Kenny said, coming into this year, we didn't expect them to be, the greatest team in East Asia, but we expected them to be there along the ride, and I think Mameshi coming back and returning definitely strengthens this roster once more. Rival Esports deserves to be a team that people are scared of, and I think Frenzy Gaming coming into this one should be pretty scared of this roster, because it's 3 names that, as you mentioned, Terry qualifying a lot, Mameshi, big name, IC, really coming into his own as well over the past year. It's definitely a roster that people should be extremely scared of facing.
Well, I would be scared of them if I would face them in my ranked matches. Talking about their opponents now, Frenzy Gaming, they had a tough time through the qualifier. Is it safe to say that they're the underdog here, Kenny?
I think so, despite maybe Rival not having the strongest showing last month, and we kind of talked about it, Mameshi playing for another team there for a hot second, but he's back now. I do think it's going to put them in a tough spot, though. They lost to Zeta in the upper, and lower didn't have the most competition, so yeah, that's kind of where I stand.
Trev, I already mentioned they had a bit of a tough time during the qualifier. What happened there?
I mean, this is the thing. They had a bit of a loss against Zeta Division. I mean, the thing is, it's a tough time, but like, is it though? Really? Like, Zeta kind of coming into that one expecting to lose, right? Frenzy Gaming, capable team, should be making a few monthly finals this year, but we still expect them to be losing against Zeta Division, the qualifiers, and in monthly finals. They did manage to get back through the losers bracket though with a 3-0 win, so coming back in a convincing fashion just goes to show a nice bounce back from them.
Both teams really strong. I'm also eager to see what you folks at home have voted. We also want to have a look at the maps. And now, since we're going to have Hot Zone for the very first time today, I'm excited to see that Dueling Beetles, a map where throwers could come in handy again. Maybe also a tank that could certainly help Rival, right, Kenny?
I think so. I definitely think there's a lot of brawlers and a lot of moving parts on this. Lou is somebody we saw a lot on Hot Zone last month. This particular map, especially if those tanks come into play, I kind of anticipate seeing him there too. Stu's showing up all the time here. Ollie in the mix. And B, one of my new favorite brawlers with their hypercharge in the game, I think can be utilized so much. So many different maps and modes, and this is certainly one of them.
We are gonna see hopefully a bit more than just 3 sets, as we always like to cast a bit more than just bare minimum, right, Trev?
Exactly. I think it's nice to see these games go a bit further than what we have seen so far, and that is very surprising to me. Only 42% of people starting with Rival Esports. You know, probably just go to show that they, you know, weren't looking strong in past months without Mameshi as well. So it's not what I expected, but I can see where it's coming from.
A little surprised on my end too, to be honest with you. Not what I was anticipating here, Sonny.
Yeah, I didn't either. Honestly, we all are siding with Rival Esports here. Mameshi's back in the roster. It's still you guys at home seem to think different. So see if you keep right. We're gonna have the bans in already. Trev, take it away.
Well, look at the Bell, Griff, and the B bands coming in from the side of Rival Esports. Frenzy, the Ban, the Poco, the Griff, and the Lou. 3 very good bans on both sides. I've got to say the Poco has become extremely annoying here after that gadget rework. Just infinite uses of that anti-stun spot. But that is another brawler we need to touch on because it's just ridiculous at the moment.
I mean, so good. That hypercharge took him from 0 to hero so quick. It's honestly unbelievable. Along with the take trade as well, that's part of the perk with Hank. If you're receiving damage, dishing damage, it does not matter. You are working towards that hypercharge. And obviously, when the map's a little more open, definitely helps out. But I think even on a semi-close quarter maps like this, depending on, and obviously Griff not in the mix here, could make things a little trickier, but nonetheless, I still think it's a pretty strong guy. Barry has still shown up here a lot. That was the first that came to mind actually for me when I saw these bans go through. I know Rival from watching scrims used the Melody a lot in their wins, but Barry with something like a Frank show up pretty frequently. So you take advantage of that, or if they wait to get that aggro or tanky brawler later.
Well, I've just taken the part.
Triple tanque. En Rival están locos. No veía eso desde el Mundial del 2022. Que se veían los tanques rusos. Y solamente jugaban tanques. Es demasiado raro que utilicen triple tanque. Y claro, el poco era justamente para que no salieran con una estrategia de healer tanque.
Maybe it's because of the gadget change.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Anti-stun, I should say. Very solid, good against the Frank, good against the Luz, good against pretty much anything that's brought in on this map.
I mean, so many tanks here. Look at, I mean, 3 on that left-hand side and 2 on the right.
Possibilities.
¿En serio tiene las quimeras? Igual esta gente gasta mucha plata. Es que el triple tanque no lo veo.
It's going to be Daryl and Draco alongside it, and it looks like an immediate takeover here by Frenzy Gaming. A little back and forth, but I think with all the health points on the rival side, they can still continue to push forward.
Yeah, well, a little stun coming in from Mameshi, but Tomodesu not going to be affected by it. Now Dansari going to come in from the right, and it's a double roll, getting some great damage in, but Terry got the hypnotize in there as well. Mira not going to be the best when no tanks are in front of him, but it is about even so far. With Icy in the backlines, though, it should be something that Dansari wants to go and pick up. Nothing yet, and a little dash out there by Mira to provide some heals to the backline kept him in the mix too.
Little roll forward from Daryl, a bounce off the wall, but a little hypnosis gonna put him down, and here's that hypercharge. Mira gonna be taken out of his super, and now Rival Esports extend this lead a little bit. First advantage they've had.
Well, Mameshi gonna go for another stun as well. Gonna clip Danshari with it. Heal's gonna be provided by Mira, but not enough. Another one thrown out now as well. Double stun comes through. Mira that up, and the percentage just carries on rolling.
Well on their way to 100%. All they have to do is hold the line, and with 14,000 plus health points, I think Frank could probably do it alone. 100 to 57%. Going to be the final call there in game number 1. Rival Esports starting things strong there, Trav.
Yeah, I mean, a very solid start, you know, and honestly, with a Daryl coming in, you know, expecting it to be the best brawler on the map, it's kind of just a bit of an anti-pick here and there. So it's either going to thrive massively, like we did see it do a few times, just gets a couple of double rolls in, gets a couple of kills, but eventually Rival Esports, with this composition that they've got, and it's so strong, with triple tank and 3 very capable tanks at the moment as well, will surely prevail.
I wonder if other teams are going to copy this after seeing its success here. Obviously, still got to win through in the set. Mameshi rocking the Frank, the King Frank at that as well. But one reason why Barry is so well used on this map is the amount of space he can grant your team, the amount of heals that he's dishing down. Now Draco can be a little more aggressive. He's really messing with Terry here. Ollie going to have to back off for now. Hank going to have to heal up too. But once all 3 of these tanks are on the map, that's just so much to deal with. They can just keep rotating people in and out of that zone.
Yeah, Danshari hypnotized and flying forwards there with the hypercharge, not going to get too much from it, and the hypnosis will clip him as well, gets that kill too, and what a turnaround for Rival Esports. It seemed like they were going to be in a very dire position there, but a bit of over-aggression from Mira going into the front lines and getting killed really didn't help them too much. Hypercharge available for IC now, just waiting for them all to be out and away from these walls to try and get a clip with it. Now uses it, not able to cycle it, but gets another shot in and finds the cycle now. Danshari goes for the hypercharge double roll in, and Torredesu will come through the backlines as well. Hill comes through and just getting them down one by one. Icy's still alive. Terry there as well. Torredesu's going to fall, and that's surely going to be the game for Rival Esports. Roll comes in, but Mameshi's joining him as well. And set 1 goes convincingly Rival's way.
What a wild draft to kick off this match. Something I definitely didn't expect to see. Triple tank with no support in there. What a bold call, and honestly it worked so well. Between Hank Hypercharge, Frank Stun, Hypnosis from Ollie, even if you have something like an...
De que Rival ya tiene un historial, tiene... Y Frenzy pues es un equipo random. Es el equipo random que siempre llega en todas las finales.
Through the gaps. They're the kind of roles that you need to keep an eye on. They're the kind of roles that you need to ban out. And as you can see, the stats are just all Rival Esports here.
That was so fun to watch, honestly, for me as well, from the backside. Terry on the Ollie did phenomenally. We talked so much about how it's good to have 1 tank on your team. There were 5 tanks on that map, Kenny.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time we've seen that many. And you have the Barry kind of gassing up his teammates with the heals, the amount of footwork that they can get down with all the ice cream on the ground. 650. I mean, that's an insane number for DPS. Ultimately, though, he lost. That might even be the crazier part. 650 DPS in a loss? Triple tank, maybe that's the wave.
And a 606 as well, I've got to say, from IC is pretty decent as well for the Hank. So all this DPS rolling down, it just provided such a good set 1 between these 2 teams. But as you can see, the kills just constantly going to Rival Esports, and the Ollie just proving its worth once more in this meta. Two of the better brawlers in this meta is not something that Frenzy Gaming were hoping to play against, I'm sure. But the Daryl seemed a little bit wild to me because it hasn't been that good for quite some time.
Such a bold call. I can't say it enough. I mean, when's the last time we really see triple tank in a meta where tanks are doing really well, granted, but, you know, usually we're seeing if you're going to go double tank, at least a Barry like we see on Frenzy Gaming side, a Poco maybe, a Byron there. These guys just sent it, went for it, and it worked out really well. Health points are such an underrated aspect of Brawl Stars, so really cool to see them kind of take advantage of that.
We've just been on Hot Zone. We're now heading into Gem Grab, the second set of this series. Gem Fort is also going to be a map that is very closed off. A lot of walls, a lot of bushes. Trev, it's going to be another tank fiesta.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen from these teams so far, they seem to like the tank, so it wouldn't surprise me if they do come rolling in once more. In Gem Grab, I feel like you've got to be a bit more kind of diverse.
No, esto no. ¿Por qué se puso en negro?
Teams, and obviously Gem 4 pretty focused in on this mid. Yes, you're going to be playing down the lanes occasionally, but a lot of the fighting is going to be mid-focused.
I would have bet that Ollie is banned out this time around. He is going to be banned. We also have a lot of mobility banned out on the side of Frenzy Gaming. They do not like to see that come out of Rival Esports. As we talked about before, Terry is just going to wreak havoc otherwise. Now, Kenny, how are we liking the loot?
I like it a lot on this map too, to be honest with you. It's very preventative of the tank side of things, but also I think just a strong brawler overall. That hypercharge, still something to be reckoned with. Getting an insta-freeze on any foe just lines up for free shots for a pro player. This is a pretty good response though, Trav. I mean, we get a Gus and a Griff, so going for a little bit of wall break, the long range and consistency of Gus. Left-hand side though, locking in these picks quick. They get a Poco off, which I love in this current meta with the gadget spam that you can bring. A lot of utility on this left-hand side. And then they also just bring in a big dog. It's Hank back again.
Yeah, I mean, they have the break and the range, so there's a possibility for Frenzy Gaming here, but when you're staring...
Esta porquería, porque sí. No sé por qué se buguea a ratos. Dios mío. Ya. Ahora se le puede molestar. El pin. Ahora. Dios mío. Ahí te puedo ponerme a hacer cosas. Ahora sí me dio. Tengo que cerrar esto. Lo que tenía pensado hacer, de momento no puedo. Creo que ya se estabilizó. No, no se estabilizó. Ay, Dios mío. Pero sí, Dios. Upa, ¿qué pasó ahí? ¿Qué fue esa jugada? ¿Qué fue esa jugada? Ay, espérate porque creo que me va a tocar darle reload. Sí, justamente ya iban 5 del... Pues tremenda jugada. Necesito ver si esto se está transmitiendo bien o hay algún problema. Todo aparece con normalidad. Definitivamente la hipercarga de Hank está rotísima. Está demasiado rota la hipercarga de Hank. Rival 2-0. Definitivamente la hipercarga de Hank está rotísima. Oye, el que más DPS tuvo fue el Gus. Interesante. Me toca reclamarlos manualmente los puntos. Ok. Perdón, ya lo configuro, perdón. Ok, acá. Eso lo tenía diferente ahorita, no sé por qué se... A ver... Ok. Bueno, dejémoslo así porque no puedo quedar como yo quería. Bueno. Y no me han sacado preguntitas random. No sé, todo está mal hoy. Todo está mal hoy. Supercell no quiere que completemos el Pro Pass. Poku. El Poku. Muy bien. Seguimos por estos lares. De momento voy bien con las predicciones. Voy 2 de 2. Aunque sigo diciendo, me están robando con los MVPs. No me han dado un MVP de la primera partida. Opa, arrancaron y... No sé, ese inicio lo empezaron horrible. O sea, ¿cómo van a poner el Frank contra la coleta? ¿Cómo vas a hacer eso? Ok. Rival empezó horrible esa ronda. ¿Se demoró mucho? Pero no lo suficiente. Muy bien, Terry. A ver. Qué salvada. Opa, Terry. Ya reaccionaron. Muy bien. GG's. Muy bien, match point. Vengan, este de mecherito no me gusta. Pongamos este de corazoncito. Mejor el de corazoncito. Otra vez. ¡Qué gol! Le sacaron un set. Yo creyendo que acaben rápido y eso van y pierden el set de balón. Mira, Toridesu. Mira, no debería mofarse de esa manera. Se van perdiendo dos. Que también el error estuvo que más de una vez ponían el fragmento de la coleta. Hombre, ese mapa a mí como me encanta. Mi mapa favorito de Casa Estelar. Oli. Brock, ok, algo clásico. Kenji. Bueno, Kenji. Interesante. Byron. Byron contra un Kenji. ¿Vas a sacar un tanque? Sacó un destructor. ¿Un thrower? Es que thrower teniendo al destructor de los muros como que no conviene. Sí, yo también pensaría que el gadget de flamas es el que convendría. Gale para contrarrestar el carro, ok. Y arranca la ronda 4. Upa. ¿Por qué malgastó la ulti? Ahora, ¿qué pasó? Me están hackeando en directo. Uy. ¿Ya? Se estabilizó por fin. Antes lo iba y empezaba a joder de más. Uy, qué bonita manera de salir de la presión. ¿Qué está haciendo? No sé qué está pasando, que me está... Ay, Dios, ¿qué pasa? Muy bien. Hola. 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 Ahora sí, ahora sí. Pero me quitaron 15 segundos. Ya les están diciendo, queremos terminar esto ya. Y se les nota bastante. Se les nota bastante. No, pero no mueras, Mameshi. Por malgastar la ulti, es que se anticipó mucho con esa ulti. Y Mameshi, digo, ahí sí. Three one. Muy bien. Bueno, en esta sí me dieron los puntos rápido. ¿Cuál partido sigue? Navi contra eFort. Bueno, me van a dar MVP porque quiero votar ahí sí, por loco. Aunque por lo que veo no me van a dar MVP. Qué triste, qué triste. Qué triste. Se me han dado recompensas de nivel 200 y a ver, 300. Solamente me han dado una recompensa, que es la de los primeros 100. O sea, me ven de nivel 200 y nivel 300. Ay, qué bien. Dijimos que íbamos a votar por... Ahí sí. Ah, no, esta es la... ¿Qué? Mameshi. Pero este MVP Sakura Mameshi, pero es que este es el anterior partido. O sea, me todavía un partido. Muy bien. Entonces Jet Rivals, esa es la pronosticado, ¿no? Tengo mucho frío. Listo. Bueno, me siguen debiendo un MVP. ¿Dónde está el MVP que me deben? No lo sé, pero me deben un MVP. Pum, 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 pum. Me deben un MVP. Supercell, me debes un MVP. Hombre, pero 2 partidos de los... De momento solamente me han dado 2, ¿verdad? 2. Sí, solamente me han dado 2. O sea, me entra ya 2. Y hoy me gasto las gemas, ¿en serio? $15. Perfecto. No voy a perder la skin de Godzilla, diciendo cierto. O sea, de la colección de Godzilla las tengo ya todas. Voy a confirmar, pero estoy seguro que ya tengo todas. Dice que son, o sea, los Power Rangers no cuentan. Bueno, a excepción de los recolors de la skin de hipercarga. Sí, las tengo todas. Give Mothra, Nita Mega Godzilla, Boss Godzilla, Mecha Ghidorah y con sus variaciones. Perfecto. Esa skin no la quería perder. Totem, SK, Tribe, Genji, Uf. Muy bien. Y for result contra Natural Vincent. Confío en Natural Vincent. Vemos que tiene Choppy. Natural Vincent tiene Choppy y ya con eso para mí gana. Tick. ¿Quién piqueó a Tick? Riorelli. Riorelli. Wow. Muy bien, muy bien. A ver, uy, ¿para qué pasó con el Darry? Me pareció un buen pedazo. ¿Se van a suicidar? ¿Por qué se suicidaron? ¿Qué están haciendo? Es la única sin que me falta es la colección de Bob Esponja. Upa. Lunes, martes descansa. Miércoles, jueves día. Muy bien. Natural champuru. Hola, si es cierto, hace rato no va natural champuru. GG's. Eso lo fue de noqueo, que es demasiado aburrido al inicio. Toda la adrenalina se concentra justamente en los últimos 30 segundos. Ribey. No, ¿cómo fallas ese gadget? A mí no me gusta esa strat usarla, no, o sea, digo que sea mala. Esa strat de Dave normalmente me gusta más la de las crías. Se escondió muy bien detrás de las crías. Se escondió muy bien detrás de las crías. Los están encerrando horrible. Uf. Pero igual de que le servía si lo que faltó por último es quick. Y además el Grey está con hipercarga. No, pero es que tiene un problema enorme el Darryl, que todo el tiempo se la pasa suicidándose. No. El Darryl tiene problemas. Otra vez ves que Nura no empezó en la partida y ya está muerto. Y ahora a Kuru le toca esperar. Ryohei no sé por qué tiene que estarse suicidando. Uy, qué perro, cómo le... Se le burló horrible. No te lo creo. Ya muere Kuru. ¿Por qué? Porque Ryohei se le dio por guiar al rey hasta él. Todo eso es culpa de Ryohei. No, perdieron. Por culpa de Ryohei. Wow. Estos partidos están alargando mucho. Bueno, ya salimos del modo aburrido. ¿Qué sigue? Hudson. Yo tengo los mapas de todas estas. Ya sí tengo los mapas, Discord. ¿Dónde está? Brawl Stars Championship. No es este. B. Este sí es. Pero necesito los mapas, no están. Ah, sí, acá están. Bounty, Only Qualifier, no. Vamos a ver si los logro sacar. Only Finance Maps. March. ¿Ese cuál es? El cuarto. Haze. What? Pit stop. Ring on fire. Ah, no, ese es el tercero. Ring on fire, sí. Después voy a las stop. Ya tengo los mapas. Ya tengo los mapas. Directo. Un Lula iría bien, una EMS, Mr. Pítulas. El pin. No se les olvide el pin. Que no se olvide nunca el pin. Uy, cómo falló la ulti. Claro, el Mr. P le hace counter tanto al Stu como a la Vi. Normal que haya escogido eso. No todo el champú. Opa. Ryohei se puso ya las pilas. Tengo que hacer el desafío de Vivi. Y se viene la remontada. Ahora sí, es que no sé por qué no veo que Kuro se atacando. Si así jugaran siempre en lugar de estar troleando, porque es que eso es claramente la primera partida. La partida fue porque estaban troleando. La skin del primo Baby Shark me vale. Esa skin no la compraría ni siendo cierto. Hombre, me faltan 100. Me faltan 100. Lion. Last stop, última parada. Lo siento, gente, pero el sueño me gana. Gracias por los que se pasaron esta noche por aquí. Espero pueda hacer directo para la próxima región. Les deseo que tengan un excelente día. Adiós.